This is video number 2, and in the first video I showed you how to flick your spindle and how to get started with it and just practice. So hopefully you've been practicing and you've gotten comfortable with the feel of the spindle in your hand. So now we're going to add your fiber, and on your fiber use a decent roving, and you know, we usually include some roving with the spindles to get you started. So you're going to want to draft some of that fiber out. See how this actually forms like a triangle shape? So you're going to pull some of those fibers back and thin it out. And then you're going to pinch just above that area that is fluffy and is the beginning of that triangle. Now, to get your leader started, I'm going to just pull this off and get rid of it because I already done some work on it. Draft some of that fiber out. Let's draft out some more so you can see how it's done. When you pull back, that's called drafting. Okay. Now, the easy way to do it is dampen your fingers. Keep the fiber in your supply hand, which for me is my right hand, and roll it down my thigh. By rolling it down my thigh away from me, it's creating a clockwise twist, which is what you always want for your singles that you spin. It's always spun, well, almost always, depending on the individual, but typically spun clockwise. So now that's starting to hold together to some degree, and I'm going to take and twist it. Kind of get some more of the fluffies here a little more compacted, and making sure that I'm twisting it clockwise. And now I'm going to hold it in my hand, keeping tension on it. Get down to that end, that very first bit, and I'm going to lay that into the grooves on my spindle. Now, if you're a rank beginner and you feel more comfortable, you can always tie a leader on. But this is the quick way of doing it if you don't have yarn available or dental floss or whatever. But you can use dental floss. So I'm going to wrap around the shaft in this manner, all the way to the tip, and then I'm going to hold tension on it. Key with spinning is always making sure that you're holding tension on the part that you've already put twist into. You let go of that tension and all of a sudden it turns into a fluffy mess. So I'm going to flick it a couple of times. You saw that. I'm going to draft this back and let some of that twist into it. We're already building twist. And you'll note that, let me turn it this way so you can see that I'm spinning off the tip of the spindle. Okay, now you'll see I'm getting some twist. You see the little pigtail that's forming? That's telling me I have twist. So now if I reach up here, pinch here, draft some fiber back, pinch before the triangle, and let that twist go into it. See it jump right into it? Now I can walk my fingers over again, pinch just at the head of that triangle, draft some back, and you can see that twist just jump right in. So now I've got twist started. I'm building tension into my hip roving, into my yarn, into my single. Now I'm going to use my fingers. Reach up. See how I'm keeping tension on all of that? Draft back, pull back, pull back, and pull back. Now it's getting to the point where in my hands it doesn't feel as taut, as gnarly, as tensiony, as you know, like it's got a lot of twist in it. So again, I'm going to flick it some more, always going clockwise. If you notice on the spindle, it's traveling clockwise. Think of a clock face in the direction that the hands travel in. Come over here and pinch. See how I wrapped it around my fingers? Pull back a little bit, pinching at the head of the drafting triangle. Pull back. See the drafting triangle? Pinch right there. Let that twist go into it. Okay. So now we're getting to the point where I have my hand or my arm fairly well extended. So I'm going to be putting a little more twist into it. I can tell I've got plenty of twist. It's bouncy feeling. So I'm going to take and bring it down, oops, and lose it entirely. But that's okay, because I just showed you how to rescue it. So let's put it back, the leader back on the spindle. So let me get, okay, so into those grooves. And I already have the twist built up into the fiber. So now I'm just going to walk that back, always keeping tension on it. And I'm going to bring it down the shaft of the spindle, back up, and back down, crossing over so that it's making nice little X's, and then back up the spindle to the tip. So now I'm going to draft some more fiber out, keeping a pinch here. See the drafting triangle? Pinch before the head of the triangle and start flicking it. Once I get some twist into it, I'm going to reach over so that my thumbs are touching each other. Draft back, pinch at the head of the triangle, let that twist in. Do you see that jump right in there? Okay, pull it back again. Bingo. It jumps right in. Okay. Flicking with the thumb and the forefinger and cradling with that center finger. Okay, I've got some nice tension built up in that. You can see how nice and taut it looks on my fingers. Reach down to the head of that drafting triangle with my left hand. Pull down, pinch above the triangle right there. Let that tension in. And initially this will seem like a slow way of doing it, but you'll discover quickly that as you get more practice, the process becomes faster. And at some point in time, you'll reach a place of confidence that you can flick and draft at the same time without having to park and draft. Okay, so that's pretty well exhausted most of the twists that I have built up. And I'm going to flick it 1, 2, 3 more times. I have my arm fairly well extended. You don't want to hurt your shoulders, so start winding onto the spindle. And this yarn that you're building on the spindle, that is called a cop. Your yarn that you build on here. So you're going to bring it up. I have enough to go back down again and still make it back up my shaft to the top of the spindle. And then I'm going to start flicking, reach up, point of the drafting triangle, let that twist into the top of the triangle, and then flick some more. I love doing this in the car. I get some funny looks from truckers and other drivers as I'm sitting there spinning in my car, particularly the truck drivers, because they can look down into the car and see what I'm doing on my lap. And I get some smiles, I get some puzzled looks, but it's a fabulous way to take up time, and the size of these spindles are just perfect for traveling. They're great travel spindles. Stick them in a little bag and keep them with you all the time. Sitting in an office somewhere, pull it out. Guess what? You can make yarn while you would normally be just staring at your little square screen on your phone. And I really, it's relaxing. You get to going on it, and it's really, therapeutic. And you're making something that you can knit with. So these are going to be singles that you're going to be putting on your shaft of your spindle. And this is going to be the beginning of your yarn journey. Always, when you end a particular project, always wrap it around the shaft and anchor it. That way your yarn doesn't come all untwisted. All right, it's fun.